Should we begin?
Sure, Prabhuji. Let's start.
Hare Krishna. So we welcome all of you for this Saturday discussion on the Mahabharat. Let us begin with our Mangalacharan. Om Jnanaatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmeditam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Nidinamine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschati Deshatarine. वांछा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. Can you all hear me clearly? There is some network related issue.
Prabhuji, you are very clear, very audible.
Oh,
Thank you.
okay. So last time, if you all remember, we discussed what all topics? We discussed the topic of Draupadi's Swayamvar. How so many princes came from all parts of the world in order to marry the beautiful Draupadi. And they all came for the Swayamvar wanting to win her. And we saw Duryodhan, Jarasandha, Shishupal, Karna, and so many other princes participated. But none of them could win the hand of Draupadi. So when all the Kshatriyas failed to win the competition, then the Brahmanas were given the chance. And within the Brahmana community was the 5 Pandavas sitting there, unrecognized by anyone. So Arjun stood up and went there to participate, and he participated, and he hit the target successfully. And in this way, Draupadi married Arjuna. And there was a fight between all the Kshatriyas. They wanted to attack Drupada because they felt Drupada cheated them. But then Arjuna and Bhima came there and interfered, and then they defeated all the princes who were trying to attack Drupada. And finally, Krishna and Balaram, who were also present, but they didn't participate in the competition, they came and pacified everyone, saying, this Brahmana has won the princess in a fair competition. So you can't accuse Drupada for cheating. Everyone was given the chance, and when you all failed, then this Brahman boy has won her. In this way, everyone was pacified, and then they all went back. And then we know how the Pandavas went to the cottage, and Kunti said, you should distribute whatever you have received among all 5 of you. But she didn't know that it was Draupadi. So they all consulted among each other, and Yudhishthir said, no sin can come to my mind. So and I don't see there is a sin involved here, although it is not a standard thing, it is unconventional. And by that time, Drupada's messenger also came there and invited them to their palace for the wedding function. And there Vyasadeva comes, and then he discloses the secret behind Draupadi's past life, how Draupadi had worshipped Lord Shiva, and she had requested Lord Shiva to have a husband 5 times. And Shiva said, so be it, tathastu. Because she asked for 5 times, she was going to receive 5 husbands in this life. And in this way, the 5 Pandavas got married, each of them one by one day after the other. And all 5 became the husband of Draupadi. So in the Srimad Bhagavatam also, you will find a couple of incidents where one queen or one woman marries multiple husbands. There is a story of the Prachetas, who were many of them, and they had one wife, one Apsara. And there are 1 or 2 such cases. So it is not common, but it is not totally non-existent, such cases. But usually the case is one man can marry multiple wives, not vice versa. That is not a common thing, unless there is an exceptional case which is ordained by some superior authority. In that case, such things can be accepted. So in this way, Draupadi became the wife of all the 5 Pandavas. And then we saw the story of how Narad Muni comes there and warns the 5 Pandavas. You should be careful because there is only one wife shared by all of you. There could be fight among you. You should avoid all kinds of quarrels and disagreements. And you should make an agreement who will stay with Draupadi at any given point of time. And to prove this point, he narrated the story of Sunda and Upasunda, who were powerful demons, but they were terrorizing the universe. So Brahmaji sent an Apsara called Tilottama. And when the 2 brothers saw Tilottama, they started fighting with each other and they killed each other. That was the end of their life. Because they had got the boon that no one will be able to kill us unless we fight among each other. So they were confident that they will never fight among each other. But Brahmaji devised this trick, and they fought among each other and fought with each other and they killed each other. So therefore, Narad Muni warned, you should not act like Sunda and Upasunda, fighting over one woman, one wife. You should make an agreement among yourself. So one day when the Brahmana came to Indraprastha saying his cows were getting stolen, so Arjun had to enter into the chamber where Yudhishthir was sitting alone with his wife Draupadi. So he took his weapons and chased the robber, defeated him, and retrieved the wealth of the Brahmana. Came back and gave gave back the wealth to the Brahmana. And then he came back to Yudhishthir and said, "Now I am going, because our agreement was whoever enters the room when Draupadi is sitting with someone else, that person has to go on a pilgrimage for 1 year." So all the other five Pandava brothers were very much upset because they didn't want to have separation from Arjun. But Arjun was insistent. No, this is our agreement and I don't want to break the rules of Dharma. So in this way, Arjun goes on a pilgrimage for 1 year. This is what we saw last time. So what happens during his pilgrimage? That we will see today. So he travels along with a group of friends and other Brahmana sages. All of them accompany with Arjun. And one day he was taking he used to perform sacrifices, donate charity to many people, the local people, and he was going in a leisurely place, enjoying the time, enjoying his time with in the forest, along with the rivers, in various ashrams of the sages, and he was enjoying. He was happy. So one day he entered into the Ganga for bathing, and he suddenly noticed that someone is dragging him inside underwater. And he was surprised, who is this? Finally, he reached the Nagaloka. Remember, even Bhima had gone to the Nagaloka once. Something similar happened with Arjun. He was transported into the Nagaloka by some unknown force. And Arjun was wondering, what is this place? And who brought me here? So suddenly, one beautiful young girl comes there in front of Arjun. And Arjun recognized that she was from the Naga race. And Arjun understood that these people have mystical powers. These are the ones who brought me here. And this girl then started speaking to Arjun. She said, "Look, I am the daughter of the Naga king whose name is Kauravya. And my name is Ulupi. Ulupi. When you entered the river, I was attracted by your form. I got attracted to you. Therefore, I brought you here. And I wish to accept you as my husband. And please accept me as your wife." So Arjun said, "Look, right now I am on a pilgrimage and I have to observe celibacy, brahmacharya. I cannot marry anyone now because that is the condition with my brothers." So Ulupi said, "Look, your agreement with your brothers is in connection with Draupadi, right? Not with any other wife or any other woman. So don't worry. Even if you marry me, you are not going to break any religious principles. And moreover, for a Kshatriya, if a woman approaches her for marriage, the Kshatriya should not refuse. That's a Kshatriya dharma. If a Kshatriya refuses the request of a woman for marriage, then the Kshatriya is committing a sin. So Arjun then thought about it. He understood that what she is saying is right. And finally, after giving careful attention, careful thought, he said, okay, I will accept you as my wife. So she fed him all kinds of food and drinks, and then they married. And a child was born. A child was conceived. So Arjun then later said that I cannot take you back to Hastinapur now because uh, we are in. It will take some time. We have to settle some other things. Once the right time comes, then I will take you. So in this way, Arjun decides to leave her. So Ulupi again brings him back on the bank of the Ganges where he had left. And this way, the next day morning, he is back along with a group of sages, along with his assembly of sages. So in this way, Arjun continues his travel. And he travels all over the Bharatvarsha. He travels to various mountains, crosses various rivers, crosses various villages. He goes to the northeast, India's current northeast, and there he enters the kingdom of Manipur. Manipur is still a state of northeast India. This is beyond the mountain called as Mahendra. So there in Manipur, the king's name is Chitravahan, and his capital city is called Manalur. Manipur's capital is Manalur at that time, and he had a daughter whose name was Chitrangada. Chitravahan's daughter is Chitrangada. So Arjun, when he saw her, this beautiful princess, he was attracted to her, and he asked the king, "Can I have your daughter as my wife?" So Chitravahan was very happy at this proposal. He knew Arjun is a world famous warrior, the best of all warriors in the entire world, and he is a member of the Kuru dynasty. If my daughter becomes the husband of Arjun, that's a very good proposal. But he said there is one condition. Not exactly condition. He said, um, long ago, Lord Shiva had blessed us, the entire family, that you should have a child, but you will have only one child. That was a condition for that whole family. It was like some sacrifice they had done, and this was what Lord Shiva had said, and everyone will have only one child. So Chitravahan had this one daughter, and he wanted to continue the kingdom. So that means he needs to have a son. So he told Arjun, "You shall have a child." Sorry, he said, "You should marry my daughter, and in this way, when the son is born, he will continue the rule." So Arjun agreed, and they married. Arjun got another wife here, Chitrangada. So again, he said he cannot take her now currently because he is on a pilgrimage. He continued his travel. From Manipur, he came down along the northeast. He came to South India after a long travel. There he met a community of rishis and sages. So after visiting all the local pilgrimage sites and temples, he requested the sages, "So what can I do for you?" So the sages said, "Look, very close to this place, there are 5 lakes. But unfortunately, no one can enter the lake. These lakes are very auspicious, very pavitra, pure lakes. But these lakes are infested with crocodiles." Hmm? One second, let me just, why is this not moving? The Arjun marries Ulupi. Ulupi is a Naga wife. And then he marries Chitrangada. Then he arrives at these 5 lakes. And these 5 lakes are infested with these 5 crocodiles. So the sages said, because of these crocodiles, we cannot enter the lake. Anyone who enters the lake, these crocodiles grab us. So they said, do something about it. So Arjun knew, no one can do anything to me, because when he had married the Naga princess Ulupi, she had blessed him that whenever you enter any body of water, you will remain victorious. No one can defeat you inside the body of water. So this benediction he had received from Ulupi. So therefore he confidently entered these lakes. He entered the first lake, and immediately the crocodile grabbed him. But Arjun, with his strength and with the blessing of Ulupi, he dragged the crocodile outside the lake, and he took the crocodile by its body and dashed the crocodile on the stone surface. And this way, he killed the crocodile. So when he dashed the crocodile, an Apsara came out of it. One Apsara, beautiful Apsara, came out of the crocodile's body, and her name was Varga. So Arjuna was surprised. What happened? Who are you? So Varga then narrated the story of her previous life. She said, I, along with my friends, we were in the heavenly planets, and we were traveling across the gardens and woods of the heavenly region, and we saw one Brahmin who was meditating, and he was radiating a nice effulgence. तेज निकल रहा था उसके body में से. So the Apsaras thought, okay, let us make fun with him. Let us play some joke upon him. So they started dancing in front of him in order to distract his attention. So this Brahmana, he was not attracted to them. He was not afflicted by lust. But then when these Apsaras were trying to distract him, he got angry. And he cursed them. He said, as you are attacking me now, similarly, you will become crocodiles and you will start attacking human beings. So immediately when they heard this curse, they immediately begged forgiveness, and then they realized, oh my God, we have done a big blunder by offending the sage. So Brahmana said, okay, since you are repenting now, the only way you can release yourself from the curse is when a powerful man will come there and he will take bath there, and then that man will deliver you from the curse. So why is this not moving? One second, some issue here. So in this way, the Apsara narrated her story. So when Arjun was the one who delivered them, so in this way, the Apsara Varga requested Arjun to please enter the other lakes also and deliver her friends, deliver all the crocodiles. So in this way, Arjun entered into each of the 5 lakes, and every time the crocodile would grab him, and he would come out, dash the crocodile on a rock or a stone slab, and deliver them. So in this way, all the 5 Apsaras were delivered from the Brahmana's curse, and they all then left back to their heavenly abode. So all the sages were very happy, and now the lakes were safe. Anyone could enter these auspicious lakes and take bath and purify themselves. So in this way, Arjun continued his travel, and he came from the southern coast. He traveled north, and finally he came to west coast of India. He came to the place of Dwarka, which was the capital city of Lord Krishna and the Yadus. So when he came there, he came at the city gate and he sent a message inside to Krishna. So the messenger came to Krishna and informed that, look, Arjun has come. So immediately Lord Krishna comes there in order to welcome his friend, and Krishna welcomes him, and they start talking about so many things about Arjuna's travel. Krishna inquired from Arjuna all the details, and then Arjuna inquired about Subhadra, because Arjuna heard about Subhadra, and Arjuna expressed his desire to marry Subhadra. So Krishna said, yes, that's a nice proposal. Even I wish to see that you are married to Subhadra. But there is one problem. What is the problem? He said, my brother, elder brother, Balaram, he wants to see Subhadra married to Duryodhan. And therefore, and he's the elder brother, he's like the city father, and whatever he says, that's going to happen. But let us work out something and make sure that you are able to marry Subhadra. I am also eager to see that Subhadra is married to you. So Krishna said, you do one thing. Now the rainy season is going to come very soon. So all sadhus who usually reside in one place during the 4 months of the rainy season. So I suggest that you dress up yourself like a sadhu, wandering mendicant. And when you enter the Dwarka city, and I am sure that when Balaram sees you, he will invite you to this palace and feed you food. And he will give Subhadra the chance to serve you. And then one day you will get an opportunity to kidnap her. So Arjun thought about this plan and he said, wow, that's a good idea. So in this way, Arjun dressed himself as a sannyasi, as a sadhu, mendicant. And he had matted hair and long beard, and no one recognized him. Why is this not moving? So no one recognizes him. So Arjun takes up a place in the city because the rainy season had begun. And as expected, Balaram saw him once and he invited Arjun, the sadhu Arjun, to come to his palace. So Arjun went to his palace for meals, and Balaram engaged Subhadra, his sister, to serve the sadhu. Because when you serve a sadhu, then you get all the blessings. And when the girl receives all the blessings, then her married life will be auspicious. That was the whole plan behind engaging a young girl in the service of a sadhu. But this was not a sadhu exactly, and Balaram didn't know this. So Subhadra came to serve Arjun, and Arjun got the first glance of Subhadra. And as soon as he saw Subhadra, Arjun was captivated by Subhadra's beauty. But he couldn't do anything now. So Subhadra also saw that this sadhu is not an ordinary sadhu. He was a well-built, very powerful physique he had, broad shoulders and powerful muscles. Although he is dressed as a sadhu, but he is extraordinary sadhu. And Subhadra was also attracted to Arjun's form. So in this way, a couple of times during the entire 4 months, Balaram invited Arjun to the palace for offering meals. And every time Subhadra and Arjun got attracted to each other. Their attraction for each other increased. So one day, Krishna met Subhadra and he said, "So, what do you think about your marriage? Dauji is planning to marry you off to Duryodhan. Are you happy with that proposal?" So Subhadra said, "No, Baba, I have no interest in Duryodhan. He's such a cunning person. I am not interested." Then Krishna said, "What about Arjun? Will you accept that proposal?" So Subhadra said, "Wow, that's a good idea. That's a good proposal. Arjun is a very virtuous Kshatriya from the Kuru dynasty, and he's the greatest warrior in the entire world. I will be more than happy with that proposal." Then Krishna said, what, "Do you know about the sadhu who comes to your palace?" So then Subhadra thought about this sadhu, and then just now Krishna spoke about Arjun. So then he understood. Then she understood that, oh, that sadhu must be Arjun. So the next time when Arjun came, she noticed him closely, and she recognized that this was Arjun himself. Then later Krishna met Arjun and said, "Look," he said, "on a particular day, all the Yadu members of the Yadu dynasty, they are going to one place of pilgrimage, and it's an annual function. It happens every year, and Subhadra is also going to arrive there." So ordinarily, Subhadra is not exposed to anyone. She stays inside the palace, and no man can see her. But on this day, Subhadra is going to come out, and you will be able to watch her, take her, kidnap her. That is the best opportunity you have. So Arjun got ready. So the date was announced, and Krishna told Arjun that you should dress yourself as a proper regularly, not like a sadhu. Your 1 year pilgrimage is over by that time, and the rainy season is also getting over. So you should dress yourself like a warrior. Not able to hear? I'm getting a message here. Someone is saying. Okay. So sometimes it happens, some network issues. So Arjun got ready. He dressed himself as a Pakka Arjun, warrior Arjun, Kshatriya Arjun, and he went to the place. There he saw all the Yadu warriors are relaxing and they are having a nice time. And Subhadra is also there, sitting with her friends. And Arjun saw this is the right time. So Krishna had instructed him, "You should come with your chariot." He actually gave his chariot. Krishna gave his own chariot, his own horses, and he said, "You take her, kidnap her, and immediately drive fast towards Indraprastha. You should not wait here." So according to Krishna's plan, Arjun saw Subhadra, and he slowly went towards Subhadra, and Subhadra recognized him, and he picked her up, put her on her chariot, and immediately drove off along the highway towards Indraprastha. So suddenly the Yadu warriors realized, "Oh my God, what has happened? This young man comes and kidnaps our sister." So they immediately started getting ready for the fight because no one was ready. No one expected that there is going to be a fight here, a war here. So they were relaxing and they were not ready with their weapons. Suddenly they came together and started picking up their weapons, and then they started chastising. How can this prince capture our dear sister from amongst us? He doesn't know the consequences. And then they come to know that this was Arjun, and they really got angry. "Arjun, how can he do this?" And they start cursing, and then they said, "We should immediately go behind Arjun and defeat him and kill him and get back Subhadra." So they immediately had a meeting. Balaramji was there. Balaramji was really red with anger, and he said, "This is a big insult upon the Yadu dynasty. How can the Kuru dynasty insult us? We are supposed to be friends, close relatives. This is a big insult. We cannot tolerate this." And all other Yadu warriors also said, "Yes, yes, we should punish Arjun and teach him a nice lesson." So in this way, everyone was saying and cursing Arjun and getting angry at Arjun. So suddenly Balaramji noticed that Krishna is not speaking anything. He is silent. So he announced, "Come on, what is the use of we all are speaking like this? Our brother, my brother Krishna is not saying anything. Let us see what he has to say." So then Balaramji requests Krishna to say what is his opinion about the whole affair, whole incident. So Krishna says, "Look, I don't feel that Arjun has really insulted us. Arjun came as a Kshatriya and he has kidnapped Subhadra, which is like a proper way of Kshatriya marriage. Krishna also married Rukmini in the same style, kidnapping Rukmini from the assembly of kings. So that is the standard style of marrying a marriage in a Kshatriya dynasty. Someone can kidnap a princess. That's like a heroic thing. So Arjun is a Kshatriya, well-known warrior all over the world, and he is from a very close family, our own relative. And the Kuru dynasty, Kurus are the rulers of the whole world. So what is the insult? She has joined a nice family. Instead of fighting with Arjun and defeating him, we should actually invite Arjun and honor him and perform a nice wedding. So everyone heard this and everyone thought, yeah, that is true. Arjun is a very capable husband. And then Krishna also said, now that Arjun has kidnapped Subhadra, no one will now marry Subhadra. She is already touched by Arjun. That was a custom in those days. If a woman is touched by someone, a man, then no one else will accept her. You remember the story of Amba, how Bhishma kidnapped her, all three sisters, and then later Shalva refused to accept her because he said, Bhishma has taken you. Now I cannot accept it. So that was a custom in those days. So Subhadra, Krishna said, Arjuna has already accepted Subhadra, taken her away. So no one else will now accept Subhadra. So everyone agreed to Krishna's proposal. And instead of fighting with him, Balaramji sent people, messengers, to invite Arjun back. In this way, Arjun and Subhadra came back to Dwarka and he was received nicely. And there was a nice function celebration to in honor of Arjun's kidnapping Subhadra. So Arjun and Subhadra stayed there for a few days and then they decided to go back to Hastinapur. So the Yadus sent a lot of gifts, a lot of precious jewels and gold and so many other things. They give back as gift, dowry to Arjun. And finally Arjun reaches Hastinapur. So Hastinapur, the Yudhishthira and the five Pandava brothers, they are very happy. After that, happy that Arjun has come back after a long year. They were really missing him. And they welcomed him and then they welcomed Subhadra also. And everything was very happy. So then Arjun noticed that his first wife, Draupadi, she is missing. So then he understood that Draupadi is upset with Arjun. So Arjun goes to Draupadi and said, what happened? Draupadi said, now that you have so many wives, Subhadra is there, very beautiful wives, now you will ignore me. So Arjun said, Aisa nahi hai, Baba. Don't worry like this. Don't worry about this. My love for you has not diminished even a bit, even though I have married Subhadra and other wives. So don't worry. But Draupadi was not convinced. So she continued to remain upset. So Arjun decided a plan. She said, look, he told Subhadra, you do one thing. You should dress yourself like a cowherd girl, a gopi. And then you should go to Draupadi and announce yourself as a maid servant of Draupadi. So that's what Subhadra did. She dressed herself like a cowherd gopi, young girl, and she went to Subhadra. She went to Draupadi. And Draupadi said, who are you? So Subhadra said, I am simply a young cowherd girl wanting to serve you as a maid servant. So as soon as Draupadi saw Subhadra as a cowherd girl, she remembered Krishna. because Krishna was a cowherd boy. She remembered Krishna's childhood, and she already had great devotion towards Krishna. So with that remembrance, she welcomed Subhadra, and she started inquiring, so who are you? May you have a great husband and a great son, powerful husband and a powerful son. So then Subhadra said, I am Subhadra, the wife of Arjun. So that way, the whole matter was settled, and Draupadi was very happy. She welcomed Subhadra. Yes, Subhadra was Krishna's sister, correct. In this way, the whole matter was settled, and both Draupadi and Subhadra were had a good relation. Then they went to Kunti, and uh, the whole matter was settled nicely. We will discuss about Subhadra a little later towards the end. Okay. So in this way, Arjun got settled in Hastinapur after his 1 year pilgrimage, and very soon after a few days, the whole team from Dwarka came. Krishna and Balaram and all the Yadu warriors, Satyaki, Akrura, all these people came with a big. Yeah, I'm sorry, I forget to do that. So this Arjun dresses Sadhu, and then finally Arjun kidnaps Subhadra. His Subhadra dressed as a gopi, going to Draupadi. So then finally all these Yadus come to Hastinapur again for a grand wedding. They get lot of gifts, lot of chariots and elephants and horses as a dowry, lot of precious jewels. Balaramji gets another set of gifts. In this way, there's a huge line of horses and elephants that come to Hastinapur from Dwarka. So Yudhishthir welcomes all of them and gives them nice accommodation in his palace, and everyone is happy, and then there is a grand celebration. So after they all stay there for a few months, and then they go back to Dwarka. Krishna says, I will stay here for some more days. Let me spend time with the Pandavas and Arjun especially. So in this way, Krishna stays back. Krishna and Satyaki stay back. All others go back to Dwarka. So one day, Arjun told Krishna, Hare Krishna. Can you hear me now? Okay. So I got disconnected in between. I don't know what happened. Some network issue. So in this way, Arjun and Krishna go to this place near the bank of the Ganga for a picnic, for a vacation. So there they settle themselves there, and it's a nice, beautiful scene. And they start discussing about their history, how their childhood, and the various battles and wars they had fought. And in this way, they were having a nice time. So Krishna and Arjun were like intimate friends. So they would oftentimes spend time with each other alone. So when they were talking with each other in this way, okay, the screen you cannot see, right? Once again, something has happened. Give me 1 second. Okay. So one day when they were sitting there, a person comes there, a Brahmana comes there. And this Brahman was like, very effulgent, radiant person. And he said to them, he said to Krishna and Balaram, he said, I know you are two of the foremost of all men, most powerful of all men. And I am a Brahman who has a great appetite. I am a voracious Brahman. A voracious Brahman means a Brahman who has a great hunger, a great appetite. And I eat a lot. So I am approaching you because I want food. And only you two can help me. So Krishna and Arjuna were surprised. Who is this person suddenly coming in front of us? So they asked the Brahman, so what kind of food would you like to eat? The Brahman replied, look, I don't eat any ordinary food. My name is Agni, the fire god. And you have to give me food that is appropriate for me. So then he said, I want to eat this jungle, the entire forest, Khandava forest. Only then my appetite will be satisfied, my hunger will be satisfied. So, but then he said, I have many times attempted to eat this forest, burn this forest, but unfortunately, every time I do this, Indra, the god of the heaven, the demigod, the king of the demigods, he starts pouring down rain upon this forest, and because of which I am unable to consume the forest. Why does Indra do this? Because his dear friend, the Naga Takshaka, that Takshaka stays inside this forest. So in order to protect his friend Takshaka, Indra doesn't allow me to burn this forest. So you two now have to help me. So then he started narrating his story. One day, long back, there was this one king who had performed a sacrifice. What was the name of the king? One second, I forgot the name. A king named Shvetaki. He had performed a great sacrifice and he had used a lot of ghee, a huge amount of ghee was offered in the fire. And because I consumed so much of ghee, I have developed indigestion and I need a cure. So Lord Brahma advised me that you should consume the Khandava forest because inside this forest, there are a lot of medicinal herbs and roots. So if you consume this forest, your problem of indigestion will be cured. Therefore, I am trying to eat this forest. I cannot eat any other forest. But Indra doesn't allow me. So now you two can help me. You two, please help me. So I know that in your previous incarnation, you are Nara Narayan. Lord Brahma has told me this. So therefore, you are definitely capable of. Yes, the same Parikshit, correct. Same Takshak who bit Parikshit. So in this way, Arjun said, okay, we too can help you. With the help of Krishna, I can definitely help you. But I need something from you. I don't have a powerful bow. And I need some unlimited arrows. And I need a chariot also. If you can give me, supply me these things, then I can help you. So Agni says, okay, I will give you all those necessary items. He immediately meditated upon Varunadev. And Varunadev appeared there and he said, please get all the weapons, celestial weapons that you have in your collection. And Varunadev gave all the weapons to Arjun. He also gave a bow, the Gandiva bow. the famous Gandiva bow was given to Arjun by Varunadev. And he also gave 2 quiver, जिसके अंदर अस्त्र रखते हैं हम लोग, बाण रखते हैं, so बोलते quiver. He gave 2 quivers, inexhaustible quivers. Inexhaustible means कितना भी उठाओ उसमें से it won't get over. You can take unlimited number of arrows, but the quiver will always be full of arrows. It's a mystical quiver. And he also gave a chariot, Rath, that was belonging to Somadev, Chandradev. So in this way, Arjun received all these gifts. And he saw the Gandiva bow, the powerful Gandiva, and he twanged the bow. And it produced a huge sound. So Arjun was excited for the battle to begin. And he said, okay, now I am ready. I have a chariot, I have a bow, I have arrows, and everything necessary is there. And he saw the chariot. On top of the chariot, there was a flag of Hanumanji, Kapidhwaja. And this Hanuman, this monkey, appeared to be alive, almost ready to jump off the chariot. So everything was so beautiful and excellent. So Arjun said, okay, now I am ready. Varunadev also gave Krishna a club, a gada, whose name was Kaumodaki Gada. And this gada was so powerful, it can crush the entire Daityas and Danavas and Asuras. So Arjun said, yes, with the help of all these things, and with Krishna as my guide, I can definitely help you consume the Khandava forest. So Agnidev, begin, start burning. So immediately, in a moment, in a matter of minutes, Agni expanded himself and started a blazing fire over the entire forest. And the whole forest leapt into flames. So when the fire began inside the forest, all the animals staying inside the forest, they wanted to escape. Otherwise, they will be burned down. So what Arjuna and Krishna would do is they would completely revolve around the forest, just to make sure that no one escapes. Because this forest was known to be the residence of many sinful living entities. Many living entities who were belonging to the Daityas and Danava race, they had taken shelter inside the forest. And Krishna and Arjun, as a part of the mission to establish Dharma, they wanted to kill. It was Krishna's plan ultimately to make sure that all these living entities are killed inside the forest. So what Krishna would do, he would drive the chariot so fast around the forest that it appeared that Krishna and Arjuna are present everywhere all the time. And whenever any animal or beast would try to escape, immediately Arjun would shoot an arrow and kill it. So in this way, Agni was able to consume the forest. So after a few minutes, Indra saw this. My friend's life is in danger. So immediately he started pouring down rains in order to protect Takshaka. So actually, at that time, Takshak was not present inside the forest. Only his wife and his son, Ashwasen, these two were present inside the forest. So Indra didn't know that his friend Takshak is not there. He thought Takshak is inside. So in order to protect his friend Takshaka from getting burnt, he started pouring down rain. And Arjun saw Indra is pouring down. So immediately he built an umbrella of arrows over the entire forest, because of which not a single drop of rain was able to penetrate, fall into the forest and extinguish the fire. So Indra saw this and he started releasing all kinds of arrows. So along with Indra came other demigods to assist Indra. Soma, Yamaraj, Suryadev, all the Gandharvas, all these people came as an army to assist Indra in his fight against Arjuna and Krishna. But Arjuna was expert. with his expertise and skill, he started destroying all the weapons that Indra was releasing. Indra would release boulders and rocks and mountain peaks, but Arjun would immediately crush everything. And Krishna was expertly driving the chariot. So this battle continued for a long time, and the forest was burning. So finally, Indra realized that ultimately he is my son. Arjun is my son, and he was happy to see Arjun excelling in all the skills. But again, he wanted to test. So he continued his attack with greater weapons. And Arjun continued to destroy all those weapons. So then he realized that as long as Krishna and Arjun are together, no one can defeat Arjun. So in this way, he was very happy to see Arjun's performance. So then he came down and he came near Arjun and Krishna and said, "So my dear Arjun, I'm very happy with your skills and your talents. I want to bless you, and I want to offer you some gifts." So, so then this way, Indra and all the demigods offered certain gifts to Arjun, and they were very happy. Now, and they all went back. So within this forest, there was this one demon, one asura, whose name was Maya Danav. So when the forest was burning, this Maya Danav went underground, and therefore his life was saved. The forest was burning above the ground, and he went underground. So at the right moment, he came out wanting to escape. So when he was trying to escape, Arjun saw, and Krishna and Arjun saw, and they were about to kill him. Krishna took his Sudarshan Chakra, was about to kill him. But Mayadana, what he did, he immediately came to Arjun and surrendered, fell flat at his feet. So, and he said, "Please save my life." So Arjun said, "Okay." He requested Krishna to not kill him, and he also didn't kill him. And he said, "Since you have surrendered your life as a Kshatriya, I cannot kill you, because the Kshatriya's duty is anyone who surrenders to a Kshatriya, the Kshatriya should spare his life." So Arjun indicated to Krishna, "So you please don't kill him." And Agni was also ready to kill him. Krishna is ready to kill him. Arjun said, "Wait, don't kill him." So Mayadana thanks Arjun, saying, "Thank you so much." There is a problem here, it seems. It's not changing. So this is Agni burning the forest, and Arjun receiving the gift, the Gandiva bow and all the arrows. So Mayadana says, actually I forgot one point. When the forest was burning, before the Mayadana incident, when the forest was burning, there was this Takshaka's wife. Remember I told you? Takshaka's wife was inside, and his son Ashwasen was inside. So Takshaka's wife, when she was trying to escape, Arjun immediately shot an arrow, and Takshaka's wife was killed. Then his son Ashwasen, he was trying to escape. At that time, in order to protect the life of Ashwasen, he created a thunderstorm. He created a storm near Arjun. So Arjun got temporarily bewildered. The huge wind, because of which he could not focus on killing Ashwasen. So, and because of that, Ashwasen was able to escape. His life was spared. By the time Arjun recovered, by releasing another weapon, neutralizing it, Ashwasen had already escaped. So, but Takshaka's wife was killed. So in this way, that incident happened in the middle of this. Finally, Mayadanav comes. Mayadanav, he requests Arjun. Arjun saves his life, and he thanks Arjun. And the demigods attacking. Mayadanav surrenders his life. So Mayadanav says, now since you have saved my life, I want to give you a gift. So Arjun says, look, I cannot accept any gift from you just because I saved your life. It was my duty to save your life, save the life of anyone who surrenders to a Kshatriya. Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. So, sorry, I got a call in between. So, I just fulfilled my Kshatriya Dharma. I cannot accept any gift just because I saved your life. So Mayadana says, but I want to give you something. So Arjun says, okay, if you want to give something, then do something for Krishna. If you do something for Krishna, I will be happy. So Mayadana looks at Krishna. So Krishna thinks about it and he says, okay, if you want to do something for me, I request that you build a nice assembly hall for Yudhishthir in Indraprastha. I know that you are an expert architect of the demigods, of the demons, and you have all the skills, architectural skills. So please build a nice assembly hall for Yudhishthir. And such an assembly hall should be unmatched. It should be the best in the universe. So Mayadana says, okay, that's a good seva I can do for you. In this way, Mayadana is happy. Arjuna and Krishna are happy. Mayadana has saved his life. His life got saved. And he agrees, I will build something for Yudhishthir. So he goes to Yudhishthir. And then he says, in order to build the sacrificial, this assembly hall, I need to acquire materials. So he says, long back, there was this king called Vrishaparva, and he had performed a sacrifice, and the altar of the sacrifice was all made of gold and precious jewels. So all these jewels and gold is lying in one place in the Himalayas. If I can get all those items, then I can build this assembly hall for Yudhishthir. So please give me permission to go there and acquire all these items. So Yudhishthir, he goes to Yudhishthir and requests a permission. Yudhishthir is okay. And in this way, Mayadanav goes to Himalayas. And after going there, he collects all these items and he gets ready to construct this splendid, wonderful assembly hall for Yudhishthir. So what is the characteristic of this assembly hall? What are the special features of this assembly hall? And it was like a magical, mystical hall. It can confuse many people. So all those things we will see next time in our next session on Saturday. Okay, so let us stop here for today. If anyone has any question, let us take them. Vaidehi has raised her hand.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji,
I doubt that what was the name of Arjuna's chariot of which Varuna Dev gave him, which had the Hanuman on top of the flag?
Chariot. I don't think there is a name for the chariot. At least I am not aware of the chariot's name. At least I don't see it here. But the chariot was donated by Varuna Dev, and it had all the mystical powers. It cannot burn. It can drive anywhere. All those characteristics were there. I don't know if it had any name. If I get across, come to know, I'll let you know.
Yeah, okay, Prabhuji.
Okay. Anyone else?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, I have a doubt that while
What's your name?
Riyansh, Prabhuji.
Okay, Riyansh, yes, tell me.
I have a doubt that while Agnidev came in the form of a Brahman, he came to Arjuna and Krishna. Then while he was coming, did Krishna recognize he was Agnidev, or he did not recognize?
Of course, as God, as a Paramatma in everyone's heart, Krishna knows everything. He will definitely know that this is Agni Dev. But right now, he is acting like an ordinary human being. He is not acting like God, who knows everything. So he doesn't show that he recognized Agni Dev. He allows the person to reveal his identity. This kind of incidents you will see many times. Even in the Krishna book, you will see several stories. If you know the story of Nruga and the Vidyadhar who attacked Nanda Maharaj, and the Nalakovar Manigriv, Damodar pastime. So Krishna knows who are these people, Nalakovar Manigriv, kaun hai. He knew that, but he allows them to tell the whole story. And he acts like an ordinary human being. So here also, he doesn't, he inquires from them. He doesn't show that he knows everything.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Yes, anyone else? Couple of questions more, then we will have the Kahoot quiz. We have few hands raised here.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, yes, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, means like only Varun, means which demigods gave weapons to Lord Krishna and Arjun?
1 second. Let me just check that out.
It's not able to hear.
So Agnidev gave a boon. He said, by my power, you will be able to go anywhere within the universe. Then who else? Indra. Indra said, Arjun requested Indra to give him his thunderbolt weapon, Vajra weapon. So Indra said, yes, I will definitely give you, but not immediately. First, you have to please Lord Shiva. And from him, you have to get the Pashupatastra weapon. Once you get the Pashupatastra weapon, I will personally take you to my abode in the heaven, and there I will teach you and give you all the weapons. So in this way, Indra blessed him. And then who else? Who else gave? Our Surya and others also gave something. I don't remember. They also blessed them. It's not there. I don't see it here. So in this way, he got these blessings. If I find, I'll let you know more details. Okay, anyone else?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Prabhuji had said that when Arjuna and Krishna were helping Agni Dev, then they were circling the forest, so they didn't even spare an animal. And why was that? They should have spared the animals. Huh?
Yeah, I think I covered this point because all the animals and other creatures and beasts who were inside the forest, there was a history to them. This forest was infested with all kinds of sinful entities, sinful living entities. So it was Krishna's mission to kill Paritranaya Sadhunam Vinashaya Dushkritam. So when Krishna descends, he accomplishes many things in one shot. So that was the reason why Krishna and Arjun killed them. And the interesting thing is, whenever Krishna and Arjun kill anyone, the killed living entity gets benefited. They are liberated. So it may appear that they are unnecessarily killing someone, but whoever is killed by Krishna or Arjun in the presence of Krishna, they get liberation. Even the Mahabharata, when all the warriors saw Krishna and died, so they all got benefited because they got the darshan of Krishna. So darshan of Krishna in any form is always auspicious. Whether Krishna comes to you to bless you or whether Krishna punishes you, kills you, everyone benefits by that. Therefore, Krishna is called absolute. Whatever he does is beneficial for anyone, everyone. Okay?
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes.
My question
Hare Krishna.
is, Mata Prabhuji, who was Subhadra born from?
Yeah, that's a good question. Subhadra, I remember Krishna's when Devaki gave birth to 8 children inside the jail, Kamsa's
Yes.
jail. So the 7th child, it appeared that there was a miscarriage. Sorry, when the 8th child was born, and it was exchanged, right?
Yeah.
Vasudev took the boy Krishna to Vrindavan Gokul, and from there the girl child was brought back to Mathura. And when Kamsa saw this girl child, and he tried to kill her by dashing her, and that girl child turned into Durga form. So Subhadra is like that Durga, an
Subhadra
expansion
is
of
that
Durga.
one.
That's what our acharyas explain.
Okay, Prabhuji, thank you.
Okay, anyone else wants to say anything, add anything?
Hare Krishna Dharma Pranam Prabhuji.
Yes.
Prabhuji, I just wanted to clarify. You told that the Naga Serpent King, who was he?
Your voice is breaking. I couldn't hear you clearly.
Prabhuji, the Naga Serpent King, who was he?
His name?
Yeah.
His name was, I think, Kauravya. Kauravya, right? I said that. 1 second.
And Prabhuji, I also want to know the Manipur's king.
Okay.
The daughter.
Yeah, 1 second. Huh? So Manipur's king's name was Chitravahan, and the daughter was Chitrangada. And the other king, Ulupi's father, his name was Naga king was Kauravya, and his daughter was Ulupi.
Thank you.
You are getting ready for the quiz, huh? Yes. Anyone else before we begin the quiz? One last question, if anyone has. Rakshit, you have raised your hand.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Prabhuji, I just wanted to request that can you please share the first few slides of 15 minutes because I joined later 15 minutes.
Okay.
We'll put it up. We'll put it up
first-
on the group.
We'll share the slide PPT in the group. Is that okay? So should we begin the quiz now? Gopal Lila Prabhu, are you ready?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, Hare Krishna.
Exciting quiz. Gopal Lila Prabhu will start this. So get ready with all the right answers. Hare Krishna.
So thank you, Mukund Mala Prabhu. So all these questions were given by Mukund Mala Prabhu itself. So I'm just doing a kind of a copy paste business here, and definitely you'll like the quiz and the questions. These are pretty straightforward question, and if you have heard the class properly, you will be able to answer this. So just to repeat once again, if you are new to Kahoot, you can just raise your hand, then probably I can just speak about the background. Otherwise, we can just start immediately. Let me know once you're able to see the screen, and then we can start. If you can show me a thumb, that would be nice. Are you able to see my screen? Priyanka? Can you show me a thumb? Are you able to see my screen? No? Okay. Are you able to see my screen? Okay, thank you, Chaitanya. Thank you. Thank you, Mishka, Aditi. Thank you so much. All right, so okay, just to repeat one more time what this Kahoot quiz is. You need to have two devices, one where you'll able to see all the questions, and on other you have to give the answers. Okay, you have to go on kahoot.it where you have to give the pin, and once you are giving the pin, you have to give your name and you will be entering in the quiz. Okay, so let's start. You are able to see my screen? You are able to hear me? You are able to hear the computer sound? Can you show me a thumb? You are able to hear the voice? Hear the computer sound? Thank you, Sriram. Thank you so much. We'll just give another.
एक तांडव दुश्मनी का युद्ध में ऐसा हुआ, गांव पर सब कुछ लगा कर धर्म ने खेला जुआ। अपनी शक्ति की ध्वजा हाथों में लहराता हुआ, वो चला रण बांकुरों में शस्त्र बरसाता हुआ। कौन है जो रोक पाए आज इसके वार को?
The pin is 9009739.
कोई आंधी दुश्मनी की युद्ध में ऐसे चली, हर दिशा में जैसे नदियाँ रक्त की बहने
right, we are starting with our Kahoot quiz. Mahabharat quiz number 3. Last 3 weeks we are doing this. We have 14 questions. The first question: which evil Brahmana advised Dhritarashtra to destroy the Pandavas? Yajya, Upajya, Devajya, Kanika. Quickly. All right. Anyone would like to talk about when exactly it was mentioned? On the chat box, please. Anyone? When it was mentioned? When it was given this advice? I'm just trying to recollect when it was done. Okay, before the Lakshagra. Okay, thank you, Srirang. Thank you, Dimple. Moving to the next question. See Krishna Kaimal on the top, followed by Krishna, Chandrika, Dheena, and Srirang. Second question: whom did Duryodhan employ to construct the house of Lac at Varnavar? Purochan, Shakuni, Kanika, Dushasan. Straightforward. Yes, it was Purochan who was employed along with his family members to do this act of burning the Lakshagra house. Srirang coming on second, followed by Dimple, Krishna, and Dheena. Krishna Kaimal still leading the game. Question 3. Purochan had planned to set fire to the palace on which day? Ekadashi, Amosya, Purnima, Chaturthi. Okay, it was Amosya. Anyone would like to share anything why it was Amosya? Why it was decided to burn on Amosya day? Anyone? Because there was no light, no one can see. Okay. Anything else? No light. No light. Okay. Anyone would like to share on? I will just unmute you. If you can raise your hand. Okay, Dina.
Prabhuji, in Amavasya there was no moonlight, so only there was no one see the Purushottama set fire. So only he chose the Amavasya.
Right, and the entire Lakshagra, the house was lighted only by moonlight. There was no fire inside it because of the Lakshagra, the material which was used inside. Thank you. All right, let's move to the next one. Srirang coming on the top, followed by Krishna, Dheena, Krishna, and Bimla Devi. Fourth question: what was the name of the Rakshasa that the Pandavas encountered in the forest? Straightforward: Angaparna, Bakasur, Hidimba, Agasur. Okay, quickly on the chat box, who is Angaparna? Angarparna. Who is Angarparna? Thank you, Gandharva. Yes, it is. Thank you, Krishna. It is Gandharva. All right, let's move to the next question. Krishna coming on the tab, followed by Srirang, Krishna, Deena, and Bimla Devi. Fifth question. What was the name of the son born to Hidimbi and Bhima? Again, straightforward question. Yes, Gatochka. Okay, quickly, anyone would like to share what was the major contribution done by Gatotkach? Sorry for my. Anyone? Okay, Chaitanya Tila.
Yes, Prabhuji. Ghatotkacha was the part of Mahabharat war, and
Can you be a little louder, please?
Ghatotkacha was a fighter in Mahabharat war. And it was son of Bhimsen, and it was born by Hidimbi.
Okay, anyone else? Anyone else? Krishna?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Ghatotkacha made Karna use the Shakti weapon so that he could not use it against Arjun.
Thank you so much, Krishna.
And
Yes,
Prabhuji,
this is what I was looking for.
And Prabhuji, he increased his size and he fell on one Akshahani Sena.
Yes, wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, let's move to the next one. All of them, they're maintaining their positions. Sixth question. Ekachakra is famously known for what? Lord Chaitanya's birthplace, Lord Nityananda's birthplace, Advaita Acharya's birthplace, Gadadhar Pandit's birthplace. Okay, so this is Lord Nityananda's birthplace is the Ek Chakra is famous for. All right, I see Sriram coming on the top. Not much of changes. These are the only 5 people which are moving from first place to third place to fifth place. No newcomer. Seventh question. What was the calamity faced by the Brahmana family in Ekachakra? A demon was going to attack them. The Brahmana family had no children. The father was going through terminal disease. A family member had to sacrifice his life for the sake of Bakasur. Yes, a family member had to sacrifice his life for the sake of Bakasur. That's the correct answer. So what happened? Anyone would like to share something on this quickly? Anyone? What actually happened after that? Okay. Sri Radha. Sri Radha.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Bhima went on behalf of the family in Ekachakra to the demon.
And
he killed that demon.
yes, thank you.
Hare Krishna.
All right, moving to the next question. Okay, Dimple coming on number 5th position. Rest, all of them, they're maintaining their positions. 8th question. How was Draupadi's marriage to 5 men sanctioned by authority? The Brahmanas Yagya and Upajya had foretold this. Drupad and Drishtadumna wanted this. Lord Shiva had blessed Draupadi in previous life. and there was an Akashvani. Okay, yes, most of you have answered it correctly. Lord Shiva had blessed Draupadi in her previous life. Krishna coming top, followed by Srirang. Ninth question. What was the nature of Dhritarashtra's gift of half the kingdom to the Pandavas? It was prosperous part of the kingdom. It was rich with natural resources. It was a wasteland. It was blessed by the demigods. Again, a straightforward question. Okay, what was this wasteland called? Quickly on the chat box. Okay, thank you, Srirang, Venus, Ishwari, Sri Radha, Krishna. Thank you, everyone. Yes, it is correct. It is Khandoprast. All right, moving to the next question. No changes. Double points. I think so. From the next question, it is double point. What was the blessing of Sunda and Upasunda had received from Brahma? Only Lord Vishnu could kill them. They could only die at each other's hand. They will remain immortal. Only a woman could kill them. Yes, they could only die at each other's hands. Okay. So because they fall in love with the one woman and both of them, they fought for that woman and they died. All right. All of them, they're maintaining their positions. 11th question, double points. Among the princes participating in Draupadi's Swayamvar, who came close to hitting the target? Duryodhan, Karna, Shishupal, Jarasandha. Okay. Okay, so it is Duryodhan. Anyone would like to share why Duryodhan was able to do that? Because he was actually a Gadadhari. But why he was able to do that? How he was able to hit near to the target? Anyone? Because I had this question while I was preparing this. I was not able to get that clarification from Prabhuji. But anyone who has that, otherwise I can ask to Prabhuji as well to clarify that. Okay, Divya Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, because Duryodhana see the Draupadi and felt to is beautiful, Prabhuji.
Sorry, your voice is not clear. Anyone would like to share that? Prabhuji, do you like to share that? Why he was able to do that? Mukund Malapro?
Yeah, I have not heard any specific reason for that.
Oh, okay.
At
No,
least
because I was just preparing. While I was preparing this, I was just in doubt how he was able, because he was a Gadadhari, and how he was able to shoot that.
Gadadhari, so they knew all the arts, but
Yeah,
someone
yeah,
is
true.
specialized in something. Na?
Correct.
That's
Very
why
true.
Arjuna
But
and Bhima also knew Astra, shooting arrows, and Arjuna
Correct,
also knew
correct.
Ram.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. No, just wanted to check whether you had anything which you read on this part.
Yeah.
Okay, moving to the next question. Okay, Naman coming on number 5 and Dimple I see on number 3. Rest of them, they are maintaining their positions. Number 12, double points. What do we learn from the actions of Yajna and Upajya? One should not work for material gains. One should not eat without proper discrimination. One should perform all kinds of sacrifices, and one should travel to holy places. Okay, one should not eat without proper discrimination. Anyone would like to share this story of Yajna and Upajya in 30 seconds? Anyone? Anyone else? Tina, I want someone else. Please, everyone take that opportunity. Who else is this? Yes, Riyansh. Riyansh?
While the Pandavas got Drupada,
Sorry, I'm not able to hear. Is it problem with me, or anyone can confirm me that? Dimple?
Prabhuji, it's his problem. Prabhuji, can I narrate the story?
Yes, I can hear you very well.
Yeah, okay. So Drupad wanted a sacrifice, so he went first to Upayagya, who was the younger brother, and he said no, and he said that you go to Yagya because he usually, I have noticed from his childhood that he also eats food without knowing it is offered or it is proper or not. So Yagya, so he went to Yagya and Yagya agreed. And by the help of Upayagya, so he took little help from Upayagya to also do the sacrifice, even though he did not want to participate in the sacrifice.
Okay, I just missed out couple of lines in that, so not able to get it properly. Everyone is able to hear that? Was that clear? Can you repeat that one more time? Probably Krishna. Yes, Krishna, go ahead.
Yaja and Upayaja were brothers, and Upayaja discriminated on what to eat and what not to, and Yaja didn't. So when Drupada approached them for performing a sacrifice, which was not correct, Upayaja could refuse because he had eaten the proper kind of food, and Yaja did not refuse because he had not eaten the proper kind of food, and so he performed the yagya.
Oh, okay, thank you. All right, moving to the next question. Srirang coming back on number 4. Last 2 questions, double points. Who became the family priest and guide of the Pandavas? Daumya, Vyasdev, Dronacharya, Kripacharya. Okay. So yes, the correct answer is Daumya. Anyone would like to share why? Who was then Kripacharya? Who was Kripacharya? On the chat box, please. Who was Kripacharya? I'm not able to get any. Okay, Guru of Pandavas. No, Guru of Pandavas was Dronacharya. Who was Kripacharya? Yes, Kripacharya was family priest of Kauravas, while Daumya was the family priest of brothers of Dronas. Right, yeah, that's right. Brother-in-law. Okay, that's right. But I was looking for this answer. Kripacharya was the family priest for Kauravas, while Daumya was the family priest for Pandavas in the Indraprastha kingdom. Okay, I see Krishna, both Krishna leading, followed by Bimla Devi, Naman, and Chaitanya coming on number 5th. Last question, double points. The Gandharva Angarparna said Arjuna was able to defeat him because Arjuna was powerful with weapons, Arjuna was a devotee of Krishna, Arjuna was practicing celibacy and brahmacharya, Arjuna had done a lot of charity. Okay. Yes, the correct answer is Arjuna was practicing celibacy or brahmacharya. Okay. Anyone would like to share this story of Angarparna quickly in probably 30 seconds? Anyone? I want some more hands to be raised. Anyone else? Yeah, Krishna, go ahead. Krishna?
Prabhuji, what was the question? Can you just repeat?
Yeah, the story of Angarparna, Gandharva Angarparna.
Acha.
Sorry?
He was going to the Swayamvar of Draupadi, and this Angara Parna Gandharva, he stopped Arjun, and so they fought and Arjun was victorious. So Angara Parna said that because Arjun had practiced celibacy or brahmacharya, he had won.
Oh, okay, wonderful. So I don't know, I had heard one more version of it. This was from one of the class from Amog Leela Prabhu, where he mentioned about Duryodhan and Karna and everyone. They wanted to teach some lesson to Arjuna, and in the meantime they approached one lake, and this lake was owned by Angarparna, and some other they were caught, and then Arjun came and defeated Angarparna and ensured that all of them, Duryodhan and all of them, they are revived, or they were able to forgive them, or they were able to take back from Angarparna, and that was the one of the version which I heard in Among Leela Prabhu's class. All right, let's see what is the final score. Number 3, Naman. So number 2, Krishna. Number 1 is Krishna Kaimal, followed by Bimla Devi and Sri Rang. They are the runner-ups. Thank you. Let's move to the next. Okay, we will report. See how the others have performed. So again, every time I share this, this is not about who is first and who is second, but more important is how much sincerely we are hearing this class, and how much sincerely we are practicing and attending this class and attending this quiz. So even though if you're taking bit time and you are able to get the answer, that is fine. So I see Krishna, all of them, they were the correct answers. See, even Krishna got one incorrect, but still he's on second because he was able to do the give the answers fast. So this is most of the Kahoot quiz works on fastest fingers. So I see Dimple, Ishwari, Chaitanya, Krishna Priya, Krishangi. They've done quite well. All right. So this is what we have for today. Over to you, back to you, Mukund Malapro, for closing comments.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Gopal Lila Prabhu, for this exciting quiz, organizing the quiz and allowing all the children to participate. And thank you to all the children for enthusiastically participating in this quiz. That gives me encouragement to prepare the next quiz and send the questions to Gopal Lila Prabhu. So as Gopal Lila Prabhu said, winning is not more as important as participation. And I see that although you may not have won, but many of you have answered the right answers and have got a good score. Just because you got a little late in answering the right answer, you may have not got the right score, a high score. So participation is important. Krishna sees a participation, and then Krishna will bless you with all the blessings and grace. So thank you once again, and meet you next Saturday. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.